In the West, they did get it wrong. Only one player was wrong.
Booker.
Booker.
Yeah. Who's actually in?
But you can't say he's in because he got snubbed.
Okay.
It's part of the system. He was snubbed. So what's funny is if AD decides to play, what would they do? If AD came out tomorrow and said, I'm playing in the All-Star, what happens to Booker?
Well, I want to ask that because I think at some point, because if the coaches are picking the reserves, right? They say we can pick this group, we can leave him out because we know there's going to be injury, replacement. So because to me, the name that jumped out was Paul George, because we know what Paul George is capable of. I don't think he's having that Paul George level season yet. We're only halfway through it. So Booker is having a Booker season. So why did he get left out would be the question.
Yes, that is the big question. How did Booker get left off? But the guy who passes the ball to Booker is in. So the questions are, how are you? I mean, I know how this is happening.
Yeah, I feel like you're gonna tell
but
us.
I don't want to tell you now.
Okay.
But so when I look at this, there was one person who got snubbed, who truly got snubbed, who deserved it. His team is in 4th spot. He's averaging 25, 6, and 4. Right?
Right.
From there, I don't want people to think I'm picking on this guy. But how does Zion Williams get in? And his team is 11th. And he's averaging 25, 6, and 3. The numbers are not here for you to overshadow someone in the 4th spot. If you took Zion's number and put him in the East, how do you, those big men, they're averaging double doubles. So 25 and 6 and your team is 11th. How does that put you over a guy who's averaging 25, 3, and 4 and sitting in 4th spot?
Who would you say would be the next front court player that should have got in after Zion? If you're gonna put him at the bottom, what's the cutoff?
What do you mean the cutoff?
After him, who's coming next?
After him?
Yep. I'll tell you who. His teammate,
Brandon Ingram. Okay, see, that's part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
You're part of the problem.
Mm-hmm. I guess so.
You're part of the problem because you're trying to categorize it's player. This is not the starters. It's not 2 guards, 2 forwards, and whatever. It's the best reserves. So if the best reserves is all big men, God damn it, it's all big men. If it's all guards, it's all guards.
That's if you look at all these guys that we have in the snub category, they're all guards because guards put up the numbers. They're scoring more. You're looking at offense, except for Rudy Gobert and maybe Ben Simmons, there's not a lot of attention to defense. So if we look at just offensive numbers.
And you say Rudy Gobert was he averaging 14 and 12?
Mm-hmm.
Are those really
sexy offensive numbers? No.
No, is it really all-star numbers? Or I'm pretty sure his team is number 1. So number 1, we're just gonna grab number 2. That's how Middleton was making it with
a defensive specialist.
But that's how Middleton was making it with his mediocre numbers. There was one year where I think it was last year.
Yeah.
All his numbers was bad. From the 3-point percentage to his assists, rebound, everything was down.
They weren't bad. Yeah, they went down.
Everything went down, and you actually make the All-Star. But you're not playing like how are you making an All-Star if you're not actually playing like an All-Star? You can't hold everybody to their record. A record doesn't make an actual All-Star. The play does. It's the best players that makes the All-Star.
So, okay, you're not picking on him, but what do you want to say about Zion?
He shouldn't have been in front of Devin Booker.
Okay.
The number, if I said your team is if you take away the names and I said, hey, this guy's in 4th spot, his team is 4th, He's averaging 25, 3, and 4. And then you have this guy who's in the 11th spot. He's averaging 25, 6, and 3. Who do you take? If you take away the name, 100% of everyone is going to take the guy who's in the 4th spot.
Would you look at the record too, though?
That's the 4th spot.
Okay. No,
but that's what I'm saying.
I'm making your point.
But that's the 4th spot. So you're gonna take that because the numbers of the guy who's in 11 doesn't actually dominate. Like if Zion was averaging 32, then it's like, okay, I get it. You know, I get that. You know, but you know, the fact that he's averaging 1.5 points over a guy whose team is actually a playoff team is kind of doesn't make sense. It's just that's what I said. It's a flawed system because it's inaccurate. It's
tricky. It's tricky.
It's not even tricky.
I think this too for Booker's situation. Phoenix in 4th. Chris Paul is having a bounce back year, whatever you want to call it, and he's been great. Give him all that respect. He deserves to make All-Star. We agree on that. What are you looking at numbers for? You don't agree with that? Okay, wait a second before you answer. It's the fact that you have the presence of Chris Paul taking some attention and some votes potentially away from Booker.
Votes? What do you mean votes? Coaches' votes? It depends. It depends it depends.
On what?
Here we go. If we go in the West and say, who is the best player in reserves? Of course, Anthony Davis.
Dame.
Anthony Davis over. So Anthony Davis is going to be second?
Sure.
So Dame is number one?
Yes, Dame is number one to me.
Okay.
And also he's playing an available Anthony
We're
Davis.
just talking about just period. Just when before.
In general, I'll still take Dame.
Okay, so Dame is the best player
in the reserve.
At the reserve. Anthony Davis. Who's actually number 3?
Do we still get to count Devin Booker? I mean, yeah.
Okay, so that's where I had him. I said, as of right now, he is when it comes to reserves, he is the 3rd best player. 3rd, you can argue 4th, behind PG if you want to, but you can say say Booker is probably the 3rd best player.